the data you are seeing is fictitious data. So just in case, for the recording purposes, but I do want to look how you see it whenever you log in. So to get to Synergy Assessment, you'll notice the tabs up here at the top. All you got to do is click on Assessment, and it'll take you to the assessment homepage. So yours probably looks about like this right now, unless you have entered any content. You're not going to have anything in there just yet. So fun fact, I have started adding some content. However, whenever I tried it out with some teachers, they couldn't see it. So I do have a tech ticket in for that. I don't know if it's just a setting or what, but there is a little bit of content that I've added, mostly for 3rd and 4th grade. So I've been working on that, and I will continue to add things. And if you have anything that you would like to be added and you just don't have the time, send me a standard, a PDF, you know, whatever that you would like to be added, and I would be glad to add that for you as I'm adding things. So I'm going to switch over to my screen where I have my content, so you can see what it's going to look like. So once the settings get fixed, when you log in, you'll see my content, and then you'll see shared content or shared with me. So that is where you'll be able to see all of these banks that I've created. I'm creating them by subject and grade level. So I have started mostly on math. I've added a couple of English things in there, and hopefully we'll get a lot more as we progress throughout the year. So I'm hoping that if everybody starts using Synergy Assessment and you guys like it, that maybe the district will purchase the item banks that go with it next year. So it's already pre-created content that you can just go in and add questions to your own assessments with. So anyway, that is what it's going to look like. When you are in Synergy Assessment, if you would like to give a test in Synergy Assessment, there's a couple of different options. So to create anything, you're going to go down here to this blue plus sign. When you click on it, this little menu is going to pop up. So you have a bank, a test, a question, passage, rubrics. So those are the main things that you'll be adding if you want to add your own things. Now, whenever you do a test, it does save the questions. And then if you just do questions, you can save them to the bank, create a test with those questions later. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the types of tests that you can create. There's 4 different types. So this observation, this is going to be more early elementary. This is just an observation. This may be what we end up using for the PFT if you happen to, or if you're a part of that, or if you're a PE teacher. So observation is just something that you can assign, and then you can go in and answer for the student. So let's say, for instance, if you are testing their letter recognition or something like that. So for an observation, if I create a question, let's see, I want to create many questions. So each new line will create a new question. So let's say I'm testing their letter recognition. I just come in here and I type what I want. And then click done. And those are the questions. So now all you're going to do, it's just a yes or no, observed or not observed type answer that you can do if you have that kind of assessment. So I think that's probably going to be mostly early elementary that would be for. So the 2 quicker ones, if you already have a test, if you have pulled a test off of your McGraw-Hill math curriculum or somewhere else online, or if you have PDFs that you usually print for your students and give paper pencil tests, either one of these will work for that. The quick test is just a multiple choice only, so it's only going to have multiple choice type answers. The overlay is going to have multiple choice, text entry, or essay questions. that you can do for the overlay. So I'll show you the difference between the two. So the overlay, you're going to upload your document. And it's going to put it in there. And then basically it's just going to make your document interactive. So if you go up here to add a question, it gives you the options of multiple choice, text, or essay. And you can do one or many at a time. So if this were a multiple choice test and I clicked many, all I have to do is I can click, 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 and it drops in the questions and the answer choices. And then you can adjust them as necessary. So like if this needs to be moved, done adding questions, you can move these after you add them wherever they need to go. And you can adjust, you can also adjust the size, and you can adjust if it's one of those that you want ABC and then FGH, you know, if you want them alternating, it will also, you can also do the alternating. Here's your bubble size, so if you need it to be bigger or smaller, that's where you do that. You can change the point values over here. So if I want question 1 to be worth 3 points and however many points you need each question to be, you can do them there. Same for a text entry. If I do a text entry, let's just put it right here over this one. Here's my text box. And so you can just take the text box and drag it to where the text box needs to be, make it bigger if it needs to be bigger. And then here is where I'm going to, this is my answer key. So this is what the students will see, but obviously they won't see the answer key once they're giving it, but this will be where you add your answer choices. So you can either do an exact match, you can use the equation tool if you're upper grades math and you want the equation tool in there. You can do your answers like that. You can add multiple answers. So say my answer is 1/2. I can add several types of 1/2. Sometimes they put spaces in here randomly. Things like that. So any questions so far on the overlay tests? Pretty straightforward. Yes, Naomi. Can you turn your mic on?
Say again.
There we go. I noticed on the answer key where you can link the standards to each question or answer in
Yes.
your is it per question, or can you just make the whole test work align it to one standard?
That's a good question. I believe you can do both. That's a good question. I will check that. I'm pretty sure you can do both though. I think you can add just one for the whole test. Let's go to settings. Yeah, here we go. So here you can add the test to a bank. You can click your grade level, subject, and course. And where is the standard? There's not a standard on here. I have not played with the overlay test much. I've been working with the full one. So I will get back to you on that. I think you can. I think you can just add one standard, but yes, you can add individual standards. So this is great because if you add the standards, if the test, this analysis tab over here, it will break down your scores by your students by standard. So if the test does have more than one standard, let's say like on an interim assessment type thing that has 2 or 3 standards, you can look at your results not only by student, but also by standard. So once you're done with all of this arranging, you've done your answer key. When you click next to the settings, So fun fact, I don't think this is visible anymore, but do not select this passcode option. So we had somebody test that out and the students could log in, but then it was blank. They couldn't see it. So if you happen to have that happen, the passcode was the setting that messed us up. I do believe they took it off for you guys. So I will double check that again, but don't do a passcode option. Like I said, you can select what bank you want it to go to. So I've created these banks. You can create your own banks. And you can also share banks with your coworkers. You can share them with me. So you can share those. So if you make a test and you want to share it with your grade level counterpart, you can share it with them. I'm not sure whether or not you can share them across sites. That's something that I'll have to ask. But I know if you share it with me, then I can turn around and share it with whoever it is at a different site that needs it. Okay, let's see. So these are student settings over here. You really don't have to change anything in these settings. These are the staff settings. So if you share it with somebody, this will be the settings that are for them. Again, there's really nothing that you need to adjust here. So after you do,
question.
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt. With secure
No,
browsing, that is
Yes.
something, so we've been giving these tests at in our grade level, and we tried secure browsing, and it said like the secure browsing needed to be downloaded on the students' computers. Is that something that you
you
can
do that if that's
navigate?
something you want. That's something that I've spoke with IT about. I think that's something that we can download and push out. So if you do want to use the secure browser, I can bring up that conversation again. We can try to get that.
Should we just put in a tech ticket and ask for the secure browser to be added to our students' computers? Or just
You
reach
can
out
put
to
in
you?
one. You can put in one. I'll also reach out. We meet with
Okay.
them pretty regularly, so I'll ask them again. This was something that I've been somebody else asked about, so I'll bring it back up and see.
And that will allow it to be locked so students can't, for instance, use a
Right.
calculator while testing, right? Okay.
Yes.
That's what we
Yes.
want.
Yes. Can you grade the short answer yourself was the question. Yes, you can grade the short answer. You can also change the grade. So if it grades automatically for you and you're like, no, that's actually right. Or if they, did something weird with spaces or, decimals or instead of commas or something, you can go in and change the grade manually yourself after the student takes it. And yes, Ms. Dudley, there is a read aloud feature. I'm not sure if there's one in the overlay. I don't know if it's in all of them. That is something that I'll have to look into. But I do know that that is an accommodation you can add. I don't have students, so I haven't been able to play with adding accommodations for them, but you can add things for your whole group. And then you can also add accommodations individually. If you have students with an IEP or designated supports, you can add accommodations individually for them in Synergy assessment. So that's something that I definitely need. Ms. DeSanto says not for the overlay. Yeah. That is something that I definitely need more training on. So hopefully we can figure the accommodations out together because I know that will be key, especially to add those state testing accommodations for you tested grade levels. Once you get your settings in here, you're going to schedule it. So if you create your first schedule, you'll be able to do a date, a time. You can add your class here. And then I don't know what this target thing is. That's new. Haven't seen that before. You can also still change the name of your test up here. So this is where you'll schedule it. Let me hop over to this and see if I can schedule one real quick on this site. So you can see what that looks like. Okay, here we go. So it gives you a date, what time, what date and time do you want to start? What day and time do you want it to end? And then these are the colors. So no access means that you've created it, but you're not ready to give it yet, and you don't want the kids to see it yet. So that would be this red no access. Scheduled access, you can schedule it to appear for your students on a certain day. So if you're making a test and then you want them to take it next week, you can schedule it to not show up until Monday or Tuesday or whatever. And then obviously access now means they can see it right now if they log into their Synergy assessment. So there is this other feature, it's called Use Gradebook. If you check this box, then it will link directly to your gradebook. So again, you can change those scores. So if you're worried about it misscoring any of your students' assessments, you can double check that and you can change that grade. But this will link it directly to your gradebook. So you won't have to add an assignment and then put in the grades manually. Naomi, you have a question?
Yeah, if we are going to modify the score or the grade, do we do it in here or in the grade book, or do they kind of match?
So
Like-
I don't have anything in here, but I know you can edit the score in here once you have a student that's taken it, and it should fingers crossed it should transfer to your
Okay.
grade book. It should be live, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
If you have it connected. Any other questions here so far? Or anything on the overlay? So I can't wait to actually be able to use this analysis tab. I think it's going to be great once I have some data in here. But anyway, this will be where you can see the results. This live tab, you can actually go in while your students are taking the test, you'll be able to see in real time their answers to the questions and whether or not they're right or wrong. So that is a pretty cool feature. So that is the overlay. The quick assessment, again, this one is just multiple choice. You're going to pick how many questions you want, how many answer choices for each question. So let's just say we're going to do 5 questions with 4 choices. So your test document, if you want if you want to upload a PDF or Word document or what have you, you can add that right here. Again, here's your test name, description or instructions if there are any. I wanted to see it. There we go. Sorry, this is a step that I missed. Okay, so you have to click customize to be able to put in your answer key here. Otherwise, it's not going to save it. Like you saw when I clicked settings and came back, there were no questions. So click customize. That's where you're going to put in your answer choices for those. Then click done. Don't forget to click done. If you don't click done, it doesn't save them. So now you can see the answer or the questions and the answer choices. And now if I go to settings and go back, now you can see that they're there. So if you created something and it disappeared, just know that you have to click customize and then put in your answer key and then click done for it to take them. Still no standard there, so I definitely need to check on that. But here are those accommodations that I was talking about. So if you add the accommodations here, it is for all students. So I believe to add accommodations to individual students, you have to do that in your actual class. So more to come on that. That'll be part 2, Synergy Assessment part 2. So here are the accommodations that you can pick for all students to be able to see. A digital notepad if you want them to be able to type out any work. And then again, the schedule is the same. Click schedule. And then you'll select your class, your date, your time, what kind of access you want, and whether or not you want it to use the gradebook or not. So this part looks just like the overlay. Any questions on the quick assessment? Yeah. Oh, student view. Okay, so that's a good question. So if you come over here to the test options, you can view it as a student. So if you finish making your test and you're like, what does this look like? Did I do everything right? Is all of my bubbles in the right place? You can view it as a student. And eventually it'll load and open. And so this is a preview of what the test the student would see whenever they log in. James, did you have one? Okay. Sorry, I'm reading them as they pop up, so let me know if I missed something. All right, any other questions on this one?
Sorry, Megan, those were my questions. So as
Yeah.
you're reading, you're answering them. So apologize. Thank you.
I'm trying to watch my screen over here to the side, so I don't always
Yeah.
catch who's asking.
I didn't know who was. I know. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so the full test, that is what I have been creating, is the full version. So the full version, you have all of the types. You'll be able to search for existing questions in the content that I have created or the content that you create on your own. If you create any full questions. You can also click new, and that will be where you create your own questions. So these are all the question types that you can create. So these are very similar to what is on the state assessments. You have your constructed response, your drag and drop, hotspot, hot text, multiple select, multiple choice, multiple part. So I've been doing some performance task type tests, and I've done the multiple part with that. Or if you have maybe a word problem and you want them to answer it and then you want them to explain, you can make that a multi-part question. That way it grades it separately. So it'll grade the number entry or the word entry, and then you can have a short answer for their explanation. So these are all of the different various question. So I'll show you one. Let me get a question over here. Let's see. We'll do this one as a multiple choice. So here you put your question, and I have one that I'm gonna add. And sometimes if you copy and paste, it kind of does it weird. Sometimes it copies my numbers twice. I have no idea why. So I usually have to edit a little bit if I copy and paste from a different source rather than typing. Usually does it a little bit better than that. So here's your answer choices. And you'll select which one is the correct answer. And then you can save a new or just save. You can also add your standards, your grade, your bank, wherever you want it here. So this is a multiple choice question. Here's the bank that it's going to. You can change it right there. You can change the points for the question here. If it's an ELA assessment and you have multiple questions for one reading passage, you can actually add the passage separately, and you can attach the passage to the individual questions that you want it. So there's that. And then whatever else you don't see, click on this little plus sign and it will pop up. So you can add your scratch paper. You can add, there's a manual score option if you don't want it to score it. And then here are your standards. There's SBAC targets, depth of knowledge, language course, subject, grade level, and you can name the question if you want to name the question. So there's all kinds of various things. So over here, you can give them all or nothing credit, or you can give them partial credit. I'm not sure how you give partial credit to multiple choice, but if it was like a multiple select or something like that, you could give a partial credit to that. So let's save that one and let's go add a new one. Is there any that you would like to see? For free draw option for a constructed response, does that mean students can show their work for a math problem? Ooh, okay, so let's look at that. Oh, well, shoot, let's add us a question. Let's go and take a look. So looks like they could show their work. It might be well, they can touch the screen, so that might be an option. Thank you, Miss Dudley. That's a great idea. It might be hard to do with a mouse, but I think they could definitely use their finger to work out their problem on the screen. So yeah, that would be a great use of that question type. Anything else you would like to see? Any other types of questions? Oops. Let's just save that one. When you click save and new, it doesn't automatically go to the same type. If you click save and new, you can select what type of problem you want to do next. And you guys feel free to unmute and ask your questions. Or type them and I'll read them. However you prefer. This is recorded, so if you don't want to talk on the mic. Hot text. So I did add a question. It was a little tricky to figure out at first. The hot text question. So it highlights it. I'll show you the one that I made because it definitely took me some tinkering to figure out how to add that hot text question. So let me go over, let me find my content here. So another fun thing is if you go to questions, once you can see the content, whether you have some or you're looking at the content that I've created, if you just go to questions, you can search by the type of question, the grade level, the subject. So you don't necessarily have to go to that bank. So let's see, let's look at for question type. I did a hot text and it's not there. Of course it's not. Do a hotspot. Well, I definitely had one. I don't know why it doesn't find it. Oh, maybe because my subject is mathematics. It was definitely an ELA. Let's try that. It's not going to find it for me. Well, that's lovely. Let me go look at my tests. Oh, sorry. That's the bank. It may have been one that I added in the train site, so I apologize. Well, let's try it. So if I remember this properly, I believe you have to highlight what you want the hot text to be. And that is how it selects your hot text. So if you're looking for like a main idea from a paragraph or something like that, you can select the sentences individually like this, and then they can click on the sentence that it's asking for, things like that. If you ask a student to only answer half, that's a good question. So you should be able to modify their grade. Not only can you modify their answers on individual questions, but you can also modify their grade. So if you need to go and override the grade for the test, you can do that as well. The question was, how will it grade a modified test if we ask a student to only answer half of the questions? So you can modify the points for each question, but you can also modify the overall grade that it gives them. So you can modify both of those. Sorry, I'm very new to this as well, Miss Banks, so you have to give me some grace on some of these ones that I haven't played with as much. Any other questions? Is there any others that you would like to see?
Could you put the prompts back up on the screen for us to see? I think there was a matching one I thought looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Matching. So you can also, I believe, add images here. Yeah, okay, here we go. So if you wanted to put an image in here as well, like if it was a lower grade and you wanted to match pictures with sounds or something like that, you can put an image. Let me get one. Okay, I just screenshotted that. Let's get a. So you just click on the little box with the pencil and you can put whatever it is that you want in there. So I just used my snipping tool and just took a little screenshot, and then I just did Control V to paste it in there. Obviously, you can also type, use the equation tool, things like that.
And then the student
Ooh.
would use, sorry. And then the student would
No.
use their mouse to drag, drop, or connect the dot.
Yes, so you'll have to
Okay.
connect them. Put a couple of things in here. So you click and it makes a line. And then you click again and it drops it. So I guess you can also do multiple answers. See if it will let me view this one as a student. I'll have to view the test. Oh, here we go, preview. So when creating a test, if you upload an existing test, can you edit the text from it, or is it static like a background? So whatever you upload, it's like a picture. So whenever you, if you did like an overlay or the multiple choice one, it's just gonna be like a picture. So if you needed to edit it, then I would say go to like Word or something, open it in Word and edit first. You can only add the question types. I don't think you can put text over it. I think you can only put the answer choices, the bubbles and things like that. So, I mean, if you wanted to edit like the answer, letters or something like that, you can cover those up, but there's not like an option to put like a text box over it, if that makes sense. And then there was if you wanted to do a spelling test, which one would you suggest, and would it autocorrect their spelling? So I would say a text entry. Oh, that's a good question. How would you give one without putting the words? How do you give a spelling test? Do you call them out? Number 1 is car. Okay, so you could just, in theory, make a full test, like 10 questions with just text entries. And no, I don't think, I think you can turn off anything that would autocorrect their text. I think you can. There is a feature that you can do like a spell check feature, but I'm pretty sure you can keep that also turned off. So yeah, so I've been doing it as an essay and then hand grade it. It doesn't spell check. So if you did put them in just 1, 2, 3 like that, it's not gonna autocorrect their text if in a text entry as well. And that one you could, make it auto grade, try it out and see if it works. Ms. De Los Santos.
So I was gonna try to do that text entry on tomorrow.
Hi.
Sorry, I have my kids. But I have been doing the
Say hi.
wait. Sorry, I'm with my kids. We've been
worries.
doing the spelling test as far as Jackson, they say hi back as just an essay. And
Mhm.
it comes back to them as 0%, but you go in and you grade it yourself and then they get the score. So that's how I've been doing it the past couple weeks, but I wanted to try to see if I could get Synergy to grade it for me to eliminate that extra work that I've been doing. But it's been nice because I haven't been having to take papers home and grade it. It's all on the computer, so I like that.
Yes.
But I wanted to eliminate the extra step of me going in and grading it myself. So I was going to try that text entry tomorrow, hopefully.
So I would just do this. Number 1, put a text entry box, and then you can do case sensitive if you're grading for like capital letters and such. And then, so the first one is car. And then I would do another one. And I would try it like that. I think this would work pretty well. So type in your question or prompt or whatever it is, and then you click text entry and it will give that text box. And once the text box comes up, the answer is right here, and you type in the answer that you want. And then click the plus sign, and you can add as many as you want. So if you want to add one, with capital letters or whatnot, you can add as many as you'd like, just like the version of the 1/2.
What would that look like for the student view?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, let's look at that one. Did new. Hang on, let me add one more. Okay, let's preview that. So it would look just like this. They would see number 3 in a text box. And they would type it in there.
And
So
would they have to hit?
does not autocorrect.
Would they have
To view turned in
score?
once. Okay, where do you go to view that? Let me get out of my preview here. So over here, let me close this test. So in your test, go back to my tests. where we had the schedule. So your live view, which I've got to create a schedule first. So once you create your schedule, then you go to this live view, you'll be able to see all of your students' scores here. And I believe this is where you can edit their the scoring. If it's auto scoring, you can edit them here. So here's their score column. It tells you how long they took, and then their answer to each question is over here.
Also, if you do it open-ended where you have to go back and grade it later, it'll pop up as soon as you open your assessment homepage. There'll be something that says to be graded, and you just click right on that, if that helps, Naomi.
Perfect. Yes, that does help because I don't have kids that take it, so I don't see those things.
Yeah, you just click right on it and it'll open it up, and you can, so like when I was doing this spelling, when I was doing the spelling test, it'll open it right up, and I've been having my kids hit the number button and list their words for me. And you can add teacher comments on the bottom. So if you wanted to say, no, this is how you're supposed to spell it. I'm not sure if they can see that or not. I haven't played with their end of it, but I've been doing it that way. So hope that helps.
That's great. If anybody has used it, feel free to chime in. I am learning this along with you guys. So, all right. Any other questions so far?
I have a question. Once they take their test and this data is in here, what do you know what parents are able to see in Synergy? Can they see anything specific? And then also, if we wanted to share like their specific results with a parent, is there a way to do that?
So they'll be able to see the grade book, just like just what the overall grades are. They won't be able to see these assessments. Let me see if I can pull up my parent view app. So if you wanted them to see like detailed, like your feedback and such, they could log into their students Synergy, and then they can see it there. But as far as just your parent view, yeah, it's just a grade book and whatever the assignment details are. So I would love to go and look at one and see if there's any extra details on the Synergy assessment. I'm not sure if there's any extra things, but they could log in to their students at home and see whatever the student sees. Can they retake a test? I believe so. Putting me on the spot as to how to do that.
Miss
You know how to do it, Miss?
Sorry. I've
Yeah.
seen a button to where, yes, they can retake it. But honestly, right now, since I'm still playing with it as well, I just print out a paper copy and make them retake it that way. But I did see a button after they're done with it that says settings next to their name, and it says retake.
Perfect. So
Sorry,
yes.
we're getting ready for trunk or treat, so they're loud. I'm sorry.
Yes, I've had a student retake a test. So you just have to go where their scores all come in. You just click on their name and you can reassign the test to them, but it does delete the scores that they already have. So just be aware of that if you do it.
Yes, so on the analysis, would the analysis tab offer more? So the analysis tab, I don't believe that this will be anything that the students can see. This is just on the teacher end. So this is going to be where if you give a test that has more than one standard, you'll be able to see those kind of things here. I would love to get some actual like data in here so that I could actually show you guys a little more because mine is just blank. But this will be where you can see your different students, the different standards. and all that thing. Miss De Los Santos, you want to share what you see on the analysis?
I am so sorry to be a bother, but yeah, for the
No, you're not.
analysis,
You're being helpful.
for the analysis, I used it a couple of times. It shows you by question how many are getting them right, how many are getting them wrong. I gave a math overlay test, and I noticed a lot of kids were getting the answer wrong on a particular question. I went back and noticed I clicked the wrong answer. So I'm like, oh, my bad. So I went back and fixed it, and then Synergy was able to adjust it for everyone that got the right answer after I fixed it. So the ones that
Perfect,
got
thank
the
you.
right answer before I fixed it, I just went and override that question. But
That's
I
awesome.
have that up when I take it. I keep the live feed up, especially when I'm doing the math test, because I like seeing the buttons change color to red
Yep.
and green. So you can see who's getting them right and who's getting them wrong. And that if, like I said, that's how I found out I clicked the wrong answer. It happens.
I'm just going to turn it over to Miss De Los Santos, and you can share your screen, ma'am. Translation feature. That is not one I've come across yet, but I will definitely ask about that. It would be super helpful. I will definitely ask. Not one I've seen yet, but maybe if we ask them for it, real nice. Also, being that it's online, you might be able to use your translation tools online, Miss Dudley, too, with that. Any other questions? I do see some typing. Do you guys have any questions for Catherine? I know she can show you the gradebook side too, if you have any questions on that end.
So on the gradebook side, would there be then two ways to edit? You could edit on the test side before you upload to the gradebook, and as well as upload it in the gradebook if you missed it, correct?
Yes, yes, you can do it in both spots. I'm sorry, I jumped in again.
No,
But yes,
jump in.
you can do it in both spaces. I try not to mess with the scores on the gradebook side of it, just because I don't know if it messes with too many things and messes things up. But you can mess with it on both places.
Great, thank you.
And I did notice that it doesn't allow you, so when you go to the gradebook and you click gradebook and you make the assignment, I like to put my things into categories, like all my spelling tests go here, all my homework go here. You can't do that when you make the test. So then I go into my grade book and then I can add my category, but I can't do it from the assessment site. Does that make sense?
Good to know.
So when you're trying to categorize them, or where does the default send it to then? Just math,
No
like
category.
by subject, no category? Okay,
So when you open up your grade book, you know how you like to have your categories to organize things in your head? It'll just say no categories, and then you just go and edit the assignment and then put your category in.
perfect, thank you.
So for the future folks watching the recording, it was brought up about the translations. So apparently we have somebody that has used the Google extension called Google Read Aloud. If you put in a tech ticket, IT can put in Google Read Aloud on that student's device. So that's definitely good to know. Thanks for sharing, ladies. Any other questions? Anything else that you would like to see for me or Catherine? I am working on some how-to documents for IT to put into the SynDocs for Synergy. So I am working on that. It's in the works. It will be there hopefully soon. So that will also be a resource if you need to know the various tests or settings or things like that. I am working on that Do you guys know where to find Syndocs? I don't think I can open it, so Catherine, I might have you open it and show it.
You should be able to push the support button on your
Yeah, I
screen
don't
right
think
there.
it doesn't open unless you're on the school network. So that's I'm not on the school network. So if you're at home, you can't open Syndocs. But anyway, if you click support here, is it support or help? Support, right?
Support, yes.
Yeah. So if you click on support, that's where your Syndocs are. Anything and everything in Synergy. You can, I believe they can see teacher and other views, right? Not just teacher view.
I'll pull it up and share really quick.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Mhm. 1 second, logging in.
Can we make a test score load into more than one place, such as writing and math? Ms. De Los Santos, have you tried to send it to more than one class?
I have not, no, but I don't see why you couldn't just click the buttons. But I haven't tried it that way.
I think if you can't add it in the actual assessment module, you should be able to just copy the grade. If you want it to be for more than one area, you could just copy the assignment, I believe. Tests can be copied, reused, edited. Yes, absolutely. The only things that you won't have the option to edit will be the ones that are created by district. You can copy them into your own bank and edit them there. You won't be able to copy the district ones, if that makes sense.
Syndocs, are we ready?
Yes.
The support button takes you to the tech ticket. It is the help button. And if you click the Get Started tab here with the rocket ship, it takes you to our Syndocs. And over here along the left, you can choose which view you're looking, teacher view, parent view, admin view, or student view. So if we go to teacher view, you'll see a drop down of topics. And then here's the assessment. And it gives you basic instructions. And so we're working on adding to this so there's more resources available to you. But that is how you find Syndocs.
When banking tests, will end users be able to access? What do you mean by that?
So if we're all collectively banking tests, so that I think you touched on it a little bit at the beginning. Is it available for like
Yes.
everyone? kind of thing?
So you can, if you create something and you want to share, like I mentioned, if you're fifth grade teacher and you want to share it with your other fifth grade teacher counterpart, you can share it with them. So let me.
So I believe
back
right
to-
now it's only set to where you can share within your own site. So they haven't made it to where you can, I think they shut it off to share grade level, like across the district. That is something that Megan could do. So I feel like in the future, we may work on like assessments that are district wide that we can put in there, such as like our unit tests for Reach for Reading, for elementary, like things like that. We can work on getting those put into there and then open those up to the whole district. They also can be submitted, from what I remember. They can be, you
Yes.
can submit an assessment to share, and Megan can review it and double check that the standards are accurate and everything's accurate, and she can share that within the district.
Yeah, so in your own, if you want to share it within your site, when you're in your tests, you'll just go over here to the little gear that's by the close and click share, and then you'll be able to look up who you want to share it to, and you should be able to just type their name in there, and it should. So if I want to share this with Catherine, again, I don't, like Catherine said, I don't think you can share across sites, but if there is something that you want to share across sites, if you share it with me, I can then in turn share it with whoever the site is, and I can share with the entire site. So if Yucca L and Friendly Hills is teaming up on a math test and you guys all want it, I can share it with the whole district. I can share it with just your site or just another site or just an individual teacher. So you should be able to do the same, but within your site. Any other questions? We are about time. Yeah, absolutely. Any last minute things? I hope some of this was useful. I know Miss De Los Santos definitely taught us all some things. So thank you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Catherine, you have anything to add?
Nope, just make sure you turn in your timesheets. Can we share scores with MTSS? No.
Can they
I don't-
see
So
student
the
gradebooks?
MTSS teachers can see student profiles, which do have their grade books, but I don't think it only is their grades. It's not individual assignments. Yeah. You
That
can
is a great
share-
question.
My lights keep going off. You can share, you can print out a progress report, or you can email them a progress report directly from Synergy, which would have a breakdown of the assignments. But that's about it.
Not a dumb question. It says, are the tests created in each subject's tab? So it doesn't matter what class your focus is at the time. Whenever you create this, you are creating, you can create and add them to banks. So I have several banks. You will just have one initially that will be bank 4 in your name. And then if you want to create a math bank, you can click bank, name your bank here. So if you want it math, ELA, whatever you want to do, you can create a bank there. And then once you go in and assign it to a class, it'll ask you which class you want to assign it to. So that's when you'll assign it to math, ELA. So no, these are not course specific. It doesn't matter what your focus is whenever you go into the home. All right. If no more questions, you guys are dismissed. If you have more questions, feel free to stay. I'll hang out for just a second. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.